Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I am Dr. Nancy Rowland Heinrich, Executive Vice President of Community Engagement at National University, and the guest host of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. This is the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in its 20th year. Drew is on vacation, and I will be hosting 4 Spotlight podcasts today. It's quite an honor. And this one especially, as we are pleased to have in the studio one of our region's iconic leaders, Jeanne McAlister, the founder of McAlister Institute. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. And Nancy, it's a delight to be here with you because you're one of my idols, okay?
Very kind of you. Thank you. Well, at this time, for those in the audience who aren't familiar with the McAlister Institute, could you share the mission of the organization?
Well, we work with people who struggle with addiction, mental health issues, and homelessness. We have been doing this since 1977, which makes us, 49 years old next month, May 18th to be exact. And then we will have our 50th anniversary in 2027.
Well, that's pretty exciting. And again, for some of our audience members, they may not be familiar with the organization. So please share your history as founder of the organization and just kind of what led to that and, where you are today.
All right. Well, I am myself in recovery. I was addicted to alcohol for many, many years. I celebrated 69 years this last November, and so this next November will be 70 years of being clean and sober.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is very impressive.
Well, it's a tribute to the program that I work, and I wish that everybody could have this program because it's helped me through many times. Because we have to deal with life on life's terms, right? And sometimes that's a little hard to do without support. One of the things that I did in my early sobriety was get involved in the human potential movement in the 70s. Was doing sensitivity training groups, encounter groups, which were very popular at that time. I was working as an accountant in a straight business, and I wanted to quit my job and just do the groups with people because I loved seeing people change. I asked a psychiatrist who was very avant-garde in that time and believed that people with life's personal experience was far more effective than people in his profession, especially with alcohol and drug problems. So I went to him and said, would you umbrella me so I could quit my job and charge people and make a living doing this? And he said, well, I can't do that because of my license, etc. But he said, I would love to hire you to do a program. And he talked about, he wanted to do workplace drug-free programming. And I told him, I said, San Diego would not accept a woman in that position, so I'll turn you down. But when I got in the car, I got to thinking, why did I turn him down? So I wrote him a letter and said, Dear Dr. Rusk, I must have been out of my mind because I'm the only person that can do this job for you. And he still has that letter, by the way, and reminds me of it frequently because we're still in touch. So I went to work for him. I worked for him for 7 years. He trained me and mentored me. We also, he got contracts with the county, had 2 contracts, got very upset with the county and did not like being told what to do, so he quit. And they put the contracts out to bid. I was working with a lot of struggling young psychology students who didn't have any funding, and so I was the only one that had any money at all. And so we formed McAlister Institute and bid on the 2 contracts, and we got 1. All right, that's the first year. I just remember sitting on the floor waiting for furniture to be delivered and asked who wanted to be boss, and nobody raised their hand. So there I was, the boss.
All right. Well, and I would imagine that, that was a little frightening at the time, but I'm sure you were the right person for the job. I am Dr. Nancy Rowland Heinrich, EVP of National University, and the guest host of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in its 20th year. The Spotlight Show is brought to you by Mission Federal Credit Union that for more than 6 decades has been supporting important causes and initiatives in San Diego County. And the regular host, Drew Schlosberg, is currently on vacation. I have some more questions for you. So let's pick up where you left off after that first year and starting the Institute. And if you could kind of help share with the audience, how you got to where the organization is today.
Well, like I said, we were funded. We received 1 contract from the County of San Diego, and I frequently thank them for that because I feel that they had a big part in the fact that we did so much and we became such a large organization. The next year, there was a proposal put out for 2 more programs, one of which was a program for women and children, where the Women's Coalition in San Diego had discovered that women were not coming into treatment because of issues around their children. So they put out a contract for a residential program that would accept women, and it was one of the first in the nation to accept children to live with their mothers while they're in treatment for alcohol and drug and mental health issues.
That's amazing. And that program's still going strong today?
It's going very strong. We started out with 17 beds for women and 5 for children. And today it's 86 beds for women and as many children as we can. We're also one of the first in San Diego County to accept dogs in our residential program. A lot of people that are out there struggling on the streets will not accept treatment unless they can bring their dog, because their dogs sometimes are like their family. There are some restrictions, of course, because we once took in a dog who had 12 puppies in the program. We survived that whole situation and issue, but we learned we do not take any pregnant dogs anymore because we're just not set up for it. This dog and her puppies had to live in a room shared with another person, and it just got kind of smelly.
I would imagine, but animals are very therapeutic, and that's a really unique aspect. And you do see, on the streets of San Diego, a lot of people with their dogs, and I'm sure that is their family and very meaningful to them. So that's a very unique aspect. How many people have been served by the McAlister Institute since you founded it?
I just know that currently it's about 20,000 a year because we have 20 different programs throughout San Diego County, from South Bay up to Oceanside, Escondido, Vista, San Marcos, Central San Diego. I think I said South Bay, East County, etc. We have outpatient programs and inpatient programs. We have programs for women, and one of the things that I'm very proud of is that we're in our Safe House program where men and women are reunifying with their children, that they live in an apartment and share the apartment while they're going through that process. But we can accept men who are reunifying with their children, and there's very few services in San Diego County for single dads and their children. Yeah.
It sounds like a wonderful program. You've been listening to the Spotlight on the Community show with our guest, Jeanne McAlister, founder of the McAlister Institute. We will be back after a short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
We are back with Jeanne McAlister, founder of the McAlister Institute. My name is Dr. Nancy Rowland Heinrich, Executive VP of National University, and today's guest host of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in its 20th year. This show is brought to you by Mission Federal Credit Union, that for more than 6 decades has been supporting key causes and initiatives in San Diego County, from food insecurity to literacy to arts, education, and beyond. Drew Schlosberg is on vacation, and it's a pleasure to fill in for him today. And yes, I am with Jeanne McAlister, and I would love to have Jeanne share a few other things on some topics that I know are important to your organization. There's an urgent need to expand access to substance abuse treatment, especially as overdose deaths continue to impact San Diego families. So share with us, the importance of that and how your organization is trying to help with, helping overcome some of the overdose.
Well, we have our doors open. We accept all people. One of the things that I do now that I'm not the CEO any longer, because I stepped down about 18 months ago and turned it over to a very wonderful, capable, competent young lady that can run the organization. And I'm not just saying that because, well, I am saying it because I am her grandma too. So, and she's doing a great job. But one of the things that I get to do currently is go out and sit in the groups with the clients and talk with them and try to give them a little bit of inspiration and hope that they can get clean and sober. I think that, and I also answer the telephone and talk to family members, and I think that one of the saddest things is listening to a parent or a loved one that's got a loved one out there on the street and they don't know where they are. So we do our very best to try to find them. Our doors are open to almost everybody. If we can't work with them, then we will make sure that they get to a program where they can be helped. We have a recovery and bridge center in San Diego that it takes people in for about 23 hours, and that the staff there make sure that they get a place to go or a program to help them. So our outpatient programs are open until 9:30 at night. So there's intakes and help. And the overdose thing has just become so awful these days, and I say that because early on we didn't see so many overdoses, but because of fentanyl that's out there on the street. And to tell you the truth, just last week we had somebody walk out of our program from an intake and overdose in the parking lot.
That's just a tragedy,
passed, yeah.
And I know a
so
lot of
it brings to mind that this is not a moral issue at all. It's a physical, mental disease that kills people.
Yes, and I know that your organization works with a lot of different agencies in the community.
Oh, yes.
So because you get a lot of referrals, do you want to talk a little bit about the types of organizations that you're working with that might be bringing people in that truly need the type of service?
Course, the law enforcement is a big referral source. Other programs, our name is out there on the streets, and one of the things that I'm going to do today is give out my phone number. In case somebody needs help, they can call, and the call will be answered, and we'll do our very best to assist them. So I just really want people to call because we can help, there is help, and recovery is available. And I think that's, when I talk to people in the group, sometimes they don't feel that they deserve any help. And one of the things that we do at McAlister is let them know that they do deserve help.
Well, and I know you always open your doors and open your hearts to help those in need in the community.
Right.
My name is Dr. Nancy Rowland Heinrich, Executive VP of National University, and today's guest host of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. The Spotlight Show is brought to you by Mission Federal Credit Union that for more than 60 years has been supporting key causes in San Diego County. And we are back with Jeanne McAlister, founder of McAlister Institute, which is now in its 49th year, about to celebrate its 50th year. So one thing that I would like to mention, our personal connection here with National University, is we were very proud to award Mrs. McAlister with the Humanitarian of the Year Award in 2024 from the National University Foundation, and certainly well-deserved because of the tremendous impact that she has had on the community. And I just wanted to, share that because it really touched the hearts of all of our staff and faculty and students and alumni, because the disease that you help address touches any family, any situation in the community. And it's pretty amazing when you look at how your organization you founded has expanded over the years. And when you think about your organization, what makes you the most proud?
What makes me, I only can tell you a story about a client who called me when I was the CEO and said that when she was using, she went to the hospital and she lost her dog. And she had been clean and sober for a year and a half, and she was very lonely, and she called me to ask me if I could help her get a dog. And we did. We actually helped her get a dog and helped her nurture that dog until it was on its, she could take care of it. But what made me proud about that is that somehow the word is out there that if you need help, you can call the CEO of the largest drug program in San Diego County and get help. And I think that talks about the culture, about how the staff see us, and how the message that we give is that we're there to help no matter what position we have in life. Yeah. And I think that's really one of the things that I still get calls for help. Yeah.
Right. And you earlier mentioned the Kiva Women's Learning Center. And to me, that is the whole structure of that, where you can ensure that the families can heal together, must be something that the organization as a whole is very proud of, because that's very unique and certainly serves that population. When you look at what the greatest challenges are, I'm sure that they've changed over time, but right now I know it's a difficult time for a lot of nonprofit organizations and things. So what are the most significant challenges you're facing now?
Well, one of the things that's happening in our program is we're seeing people with very severe mental health issues along with the use of drugs and alcohol. And sometimes I don't know if they're just self-medicating because of their mental health issues or if they actually have an addiction problem. But we work with them, and the worst part of it is a lot of times they're way above our skill level, but there's no place to send them. We need more services in San Diego County that address some of these issues and some of the severity of the mental health issues that are going on all over today, yeah.
And is there a shortage of qualified professionals in some of those areas? I know that we have a lot of degree programs that are generating mental health professionals, social workers, psychologists, and things. But what are you finding in our area as far as being able to secure the type of professional individuals you need in those roles?
Absolutely. There just is not enough. All right, there are some that deal with it, but there's not enough programs out there that handle. And I just remember at one time we had programs, state hospitals that handled people where they lived on the grounds. They had all the services available for them there, and then we shut those down. And I believe that that's when the homeless situation became very bad, because most of those people had mental health issues. And I think that we need to reestablish those kinds of programs where they can go and live and get the treatment that they need. And we're happy to help. We work with many agencies because we don't feel that we're the only agency in town. There's a lot of really good places, but not enough.
That makes a lot of sense. And I remember when that change took place. And yes, I do believe there's a correlation with homelessness, because there were a lot of people that, were at those types of institutions and getting the help that they needed. When you look at the clients that you serve, do you have a lot of people that return and go through your program multiple times?
Absolutely. Today, and that's another issue for me, is somehow, but that we get them going back out and relapsing, and because I think it's just so much easier. I know that where we're located in El Cajon, our corporate office, that I can walk out the door in a block and get drugs are accessible. I could buy them if I wanted to. They're getting, heroin's practically disappearing because it's so expensive, but what's taken its place is fentanyl, which is much more deadly, and people are dying from that. But I just think that drugs are just so easy to get that people are using them more, and it's more complex today than it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Used to be people came in and they just had a drug problem or an alcohol problem, but today they have multiple problems: health, mental health, addiction, yeah.
They're all interrelated, and it's certainly, when you are in a large county, a large city like the San Diego area, especially with the desirable weather here, we seem to have, more than our fair share. And programs like the McAlister Institute can truly make a difference because they're meeting people where they are, thinking beyond traditional models of care, and ensuring that no one has to navigate recovery alone. And we are most privileged to have Jeanne McAlister here today, and her story is just a testament to the power of recovery and resilience, and it's such an honor to be interviewing you today. But that will do it for today's show. If there's just one other item you'd like to share, Jeanne, with our audience, because it's so special to have you here, what's your word of wisdom that you'd like to pass on?
Well, first, if you're born with addiction, it's not your fault. And a lot of times you don't know you're addicted until you take that first drink and you take that first hit. But once you know that there's another way to live, then it is your fault. But basically, I feel that we're very different than people that can You can say, I'm going to have a drink and go to have dinner, go to a show. If I have that first drink, I'm going to not stop and I'm going to drink till I'm drunk. And I don't choose that, but that's part of the addiction. The other thing is there is help. I would invite people to our Walk for Sobriety in September based on the fact that you will be inspired. You will see a woman with a note on her chest that says, I have 359 days of being clean, holding the hand of a child that says, I have 359 days of having my mom back. So that's an inspiration for those of you who are not in recovery. Come support us. Also, my phone number is 619-987-6393. I will answer your call.
And she means that. So thank you so much for your generosity of making yourself personally available. I know that technically you retired, but I believe you're probably every day still very active with the organization that you founded. And it's such a pleasure to have you here. But that does it for today's show. And I would like to thank Jeanne McAlister, founder of the McAlister Institute. My name is Dr. Nancy Rowland Heinrich, Executive VP of National University, and today's guest host of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.